Today on The Boiling Point, we're going to be talking to Steve Kemp, director at AUTOFLAME over in England. Now, AUTOFLAME is a company that we have represented for many, many years. Now, this discussion is a little bit about the company and the new products. If you like this format, make sure you stick around. We're going to be having more podcast type style of what you're going to see today. Really appreciate 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. We love all of you guys for sharing the videos, for watching the videos, coming up to us and saying how much that they are helping you. Keep sharing those things for us, and we'll see you next time on The Boiling Point. We are live at Boiler 2024, and we have got Steve Kemp. Steve Kemp is with AUTOFLAME, and of course you all probably know Gerald Blaine. But Gerald, why don't you quick introduce yourself, how long you've been with the company? And
I've been with WARE for 20 years. I'm the director of our Projects and Services division.
And Gerald sells quite a bit of the AUTOFLAME as well, so an expert within our company at least. Steve, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Steve Kemp from England, London, hence the accent. I've been with the company 38 years now. So a long time. It's a family business. So my brother's still in the business. Got my kids in the business. So yeah, that's good.
I was thinking the other day about just, from a tech center standpoint, we've been together for how long now? Is it 30?
Yeah, it's getting on 30 years. Yeah.
So it's just been incredible from the start and have done a super job. And this man is the most traveled guy that I know all over the world, which is pretty cool. But you have, first of all, let's just say what AUTOFLAME is, what you all are, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we manufacture fuel air ratio controls for burners. We like to think we invented the product. My father designed the product.
Yeah.
The business has been around 52 years now. And that's really what we do. We are the burner control guys.
Yeah.
And that's moved on to boiler control. So it's the whole thing. Not using a PLC, but an embedded product that is used for.
Why was it actually invented though? What was the reason for it?
I think at the time is when microprocessors first came out. This is back in the early 80s. So we just wanted because my father came up with the idea of having a better product to control a burner, not using linkage, which is very restrictive. Plus in England, we were going through an energy crisis. London was converting over to gas. So we needed a way of doing this efficiently. So we applied that to burners, and it really went from there.
Yeah.
Then around the 90s, we stepped into the US market, very early 90s. And just went from there.
Yeah.
It's now our biggest market.
Right. Gerald, what do you see out there as far as for what AUTOFLAME does instead of linkage? What do you see out there, just how it helps the clients? So
yeah, well, I think the interesting thing about AUTOFLAME, aside from all the efficiency things that we do, and that's usually what we sell that on and where we get the ROI. But if you really look deep into AUTOFLAME, they have more safety features than any control system out there. And that is hands down, especially in the new modern world where people of skill are limited. So having this control system certainly makes your operation 10 times more safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on that same line, I mean, obviously we've got our controller, we've got a lot of solid state sensors looking at gas pressure, air pressure, oil. So we're getting all that feedback to make the burner as safe as we can.
Yeah. So you travel the world, and obviously in America, we're probably a little behind on the linkage and an AUTOFLAME linkage list system, I should say. So what do you see? Is that
the case? It is. I mean, the US has changed a lot since I've been in the market. There's still many parts of the world that still use linkage burners as their go-to.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. Why is that, do you think?
A lot of it comes down to education. It's not just fuel prices that make it a necessity to burn the fuel as efficient as possible. It's people just don't know. So a lot of the times, like I say, I travel all over the world. A lot of times we have to educate the area we're in that there's another way of doing it, a safer way and a more efficient way. So training's a big part of it. Same as what you guys do with Boiler University.
Right. Well, you think too, though, that people look at linkage less, and it seems like it's so advanced that, they think they can't operate it. They can't do it. They don't know. I mean, that seems like what happens in the U.S.
Yeah.
And no, I think it's probably a bigger issue than that. Our manufacturers still do so much specification work, and they base it on low price. And why linkage is cheap, I don't know, because you would think it'd be more complicated to mess with.
today.
Yeah, I think, again, with that, with our product, it's a touchscreen control. So you can see everything that's going on there. The burner locks out, it tells you where, when, how it happened. You don't get that with linkage. So it's a lot more intuitive to have a touch screen telling you everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So it is a better way of doing it, even without the savings.
Yeah.
It tells you more. So if you're not educated in burner control, this helps you.
Yeah.
You know?
We've been around, as I said, 30 years with AUTOFLAME, and so we've seen an awful lot of changes over the years. New products, new developments that you guys have come out with. We're getting down to where it seems like it's like an iPhone, and it's getting that simple now. So you got a new product. What do you got coming out?
Yeah, so we have to keep developing our products. I mean, we're now on the 8 series. So we started with the Mark 1 back in the 80s. We're now Mark 8. And the Mark 8 has probably been the most reliable, the best product we ever made. But unfortunately, you can't always get components. So you have to redesign to keep up with what's available in the market. So a product would typically run for 10 years, like the Mark 8, the Mark 7 before it. So we're now at the point of bringing out a Mark 9 or a Mini 9, which is using all the latest technology. And the product will be better. It can run at much higher temperatures, much lower temperatures, and it will be even safer than the 8 series. So it'll be full SIL 3 approved. Okay. They'll have all the approvals all over the world. So it's just one product that meets everything.
Yeah. Doing anything different than?
Yeah, there's a few things we're doing. We've just got we've got a patent pending for doing flame trim. So before we've always done O2 trim, or as you call O2 trim here, using an analyzer to measure the exhaust gases, then either trim the air damper or the VFD. With the 9, we're actually doing that by looking at the UV signal of the flame. So typically when you've got an O2 trim system, the gas has to pass through the 3 or 4 passes on the boiler. Then you've got to measure that, then send that information back to the controller to make the adjustment. Well, now with UV trim, we're actually looking at the flame. As soon as that flame deviates from the commissioned UV signature, we trim instantly. So within a second, we're back to where we should be.
Okay, so we commission with the normal trim system, and then you develop the signature.
Yeah, the signature's there all the time. So as soon as you're commissioning your points from low fire to high fire, we're storing that UV signal. So you'll be commissioning the burner, looking to obtain, say, 3% of an O2 reading, no CO. We store that information, but we also store the UV signal.
Okay, that is really interesting.
And the nice thing is that, again, this is solid state technology, which is now coming to our market. So UV sensors have been developed a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So we're using a UV sensor that gives us just an incredible signal, a whole signature of the flame. Where before you never got that.
Like you said, in the Americas, more and more shifting toward the parallel positioning. Mostly, in my opinion, because like the AUTOFLAME system is not really something you program. It's built with, it's configurable with parameters. And with the younger generation coming in, they cannot do linkage. And now they're like, oh, but we can touch these buttons, just like the iPhone combo. I mean, that's really, I think, going to drive this over the hump.
Oh, for sure. And that's the reason we also developed apps for the product now. People expect to have an app for everything. Even your fridge at home, you want an app for it.
Right.
Burner controls are no different. And you've got to help that younger generation coming through. It's what they expect. And like you said, you show a young guy, the 20-year-old, a linkage burner, they're like, what do we do?
Where's the button?
Yeah. Parallel positioning system, they're more happy to jump in and try and figure it out. So yeah, it's changing.
Any other features besides that?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the UK, we're doing a lot of work with hydrogen. I guess the UK is almost the hub for hydrogen, or how that's developing. Yeah. And I think the big issue that is actually getting the hydrogen. We can burn it. That's not an issue. We've got the controls. We're full Class 1, Div 2, ATEX approved.
Right.
But having a controller that can deal with that, you don't always have 100% hydrogen. So with the Mini 9, we can change on the fly from one fuel to another. So maybe we've got hydrogen, well, we can get it. As soon as that hydrogen level drops down, we can switch over to another fuel without losing the flame. So that's why we call it change on the fly. So the Mini 9 will do that.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool too. Awesome. Any other things that you can think of for your customers or?
No, I mean, to your point about hydrogen, we've been able to burn hydrogen for years and years. So having an improved control, that's all great. I'm interested to see going forward, what does the hydrogen market look like? Because it does take electricity to produce it. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So I'm interested to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, it's changing fast. We're actually working with a company in the UK, which is really cracking ammonia, which solves the issue of actually getting hydrogen, which is the big issue. I know Bob was talking about that early this morning.
Okay.
We can all burn it, but we don't have it. Yeah. How do we get it? And we're a long way out. As soon as you look at infrastructure changes, that is where the time comes into it.
Sure.
So there's ways of doing it. And the guys in the UK have developed something which is quite special to do that. So we're working with them as far as having the control to get that done.
Does your the control, does it actually work with every burner?
Any burners, anywhere in the world. We have all the languages, all the approvals. So, and again, that's the big deal. If you've got a controller, you can put it into someone's local language, whether it's Malay, Chinese, American. You need to be able to see that in your local language. I mean, it's complicated enough, but if it's in a language you don't understand,
right?
No, it's not so safe as you were hoping it was going to be.
That's pretty amazing that you've been able to, I guess, get this thing to work with all the languages and everything across the world.
I mean, you guys have been over to us. We've been to England. I mean, England's a small place.
Yeah.
We literally just won an award this month. It's an English award, but it's made in the UK, sold to the world. So we export. We are a big export. That's a big deal for us.
Yeah. So, that's awesome. Well, y'all do a great job with, supporting us and supporting others out there, and we appreciate all of that. And any other things you want to add?
To reiterate, I mean, they've been a great supplier. When we went through the pandemic, if it weren't for Limsfield and AUTOFLAME and the things that they do, we would have had a lot of more problems with our customers. So they've been very stable support system.
We've got stock. If you need it, same day we can get it to you. We're fortunate to be in that position. Again, like yourself, it's been a family-owned company. We're financially dependent. We invest in our own products. So, we've always had product in stock throughout the whole pandemic.
There's one other thing that just hit me a little bit too, is just the Flame Safeguard product that came out. You want to touch on that at all? I mean, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, with supply chain issues, people couldn't get the conventional Flame Safeguard controllers, like a Honeywell controller, for example, which is the bread and butter. That's the one we all use, even in the UK. And people still need to run their boiler plant just because you can't get a replacement. So we developed the Mini 8 product and it was a very small software change, which didn't step outside of any of our approvals with UL or CSD1. And we can make our product just a Flame Safeguard, which is very simple. And the nice thing is you can upload a code into that to make it into full parallel positioning, which is just adding 2 servo motors. So you've got the controller doing the Flame Safeguard.
Yeah.
Next year, add 2 servos, and then you can get a saving as well.
That's really good.
So
I like that.
It's nice. It's a nice feature.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, live here at Boiler 2024, and again, talking to Steve Kemp and our High Fire podcast. Make sure you're tuning in. Steve, thank you for hanging out.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for jumping in.
Pleasure.
And look forward to hanging out. We get to be on a panel tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
for that one.
Yeah.
Be good.
All right, man. Thanks.
Bye.